Something has changed, and they feel it in the depths of their being. Lately, this person in your life has begun to sense a profound shift in your energy, a transformation that unsettles them in ways they cannot fully articulate. There is a growing, undeniable awareness washing over them that you are genuinely moving forward with your life, stepping into a new chapter with purpose and intention. And the more clearly they perceive this evolution within you, the more their anxiety intensifies, wrapping around their thoughts like vines that refuse to let go. It is as though every single step you take in your own direction, every decision you make for your own well-being, creates a distance between you that they never anticipated, never prepared themselves to face. This realization has begun to consume them entirely, occupying their mind during waking hours and haunting their dreams at night. They are no longer able to ignore the expanding space that has formed between you, and this awareness is stirring up emotions they genuinely believed they had mastered, feelings they thought they had safely locked away and moved beyond. Their mind has become utterly fixated on you, on your whereabouts, on what you might be doing at any given moment, and especially on who you might be spending your time with. The mere thought of someone else stepping into the space they once occupied, of another person experiencing your laughter, your wisdom, your presence, is absolutely unbearable to them. This is not mere curiosity or casual wondering. This is a burning, visceral need to know, a compulsion that follows them through their days and keeps them awake through long, lonely nights. They find themselves constantly checking, perpetually watching, endlessly wondering, desperately hoping to catch even the smallest signs that there might still be a place for them somewhere in your world. This kind of profound longing does not simply fade away with time or distance. In fact, contrary to what they might have expected, it is only growing stronger with each passing day, intensifying rather than diminishing, becoming more insistent rather than quieter. They have reached a point where they are now willing to do almost anything to bridge that widening gap between you, anything to reconnect, to reclaim what feels like it is slipping through their fingers like water, like sand, like something precious that cannot be held. No matter how desperately they try to redirect their focus onto other things, other people, other pursuits, you continue to show up in their life in the most unexpected and undeniable ways. They see reminders of you absolutely everywhere they turn. Songs on the radio seem to speak directly about your connection. Numbers that held meaning between you appear repeatedly in the most unlikely places. Dreams filled with your presence feel more real than their waking hours. Casual conversations with others somehow circle back to topics that remind them of you. Unexpected encounters trigger memories they thought they had filed away. It is as if the universe itself has become a messenger, constantly pulling them back to you, refusing to allow them to forget the connection that once burned so brightly between you, the bond that once felt unbreakable. These signs and synchronicities feel almost supernatural at times, carrying a weight and significance that transcends ordinary coincidence. And they have started to believe, perhaps for the first time, that what exists between you might be something far deeper, far more meaningful than they were ever prepared to admit when you were together. While they are spiraling in this storm of uncertainty and longing, caught in waves of confusion and regret, you seem to be genuinely thriving. They can feel your energy shifting in profound ways, becoming lighter, freer, more empowered with each passing week. There is a radiance about you now that was not there before, an inner light that shines through whatever you do, wherever you go. And while part of them feels genuinely proud of your growth, celebrating your evolution from a distance, it also stings deeply. Because with that growth, with that transformation, comes the terrifying fear that you may no longer need them in your life. The possibility exists that perhaps you have outgrown what you once shared together, that you have evolved beyond the connection that once defined such an important chapter of both your lives. And that possibility terrifies them more than they can possibly put into words, more than they can express even to themselves in their most honest moments. Behind closed doors, in private moments of vulnerability, they are giving themselves pep talks, building up their courage bit by bit. They are rehearsing what they will say if they finally gather the strength to reach out to you, practicing their words, refining their message, imagining your response. The idea of a new beginning with you is not just lingering in the background of their consciousness. It is actively dominating their thoughts, occupying their mind during quiet moments and crowded ones alike. They envision what it might be like to start completely fresh, to rebuild the trust that was damaged, to heal the wounds that were inflicted, to rediscover each other on entirely new terms with greater wisdom and deeper understanding. They imagine conversations where truth flows freely, where vulnerability is met with compassion, where both of you show up as more evolved versions of who you were before. But there is also a profound hesitation that holds them back, a powerful force that keeps them from taking action. Fear. Pure, paralyzing fear. What if the door between you is already permanently closed? What if they have waited too long, missed their moment, let the opportunity slip away forever? What if you have already moved on so completely that there is no space left for them to return to? Their longing for you is no longer something they can suppress with distractions or denial. It has reached a critical point where missing you has become almost physical in nature, manifesting in their body as real, tangible sensation. It hurts. There is an actual ache in their chest every single time they think about the way things used to be, the way you smiled at them with that particular light in your eyes, the way your energy made them feel complete and whole in ways they had never experienced before. This pain, this profound emptiness, has become a constant companion that walks beside them through their days. They wake with it, carry it through their daily routines, and lie down with it at night. And what is more, you might actually be feeling it too, experiencing the same soul-deep longing. Those subtle waves of inexplicable sadness that seem to wash over you out of nowhere, with no apparent trigger. The dreams that leave you wondering why they felt so incredibly real, why they linger in your mind long after you wake. There is a soul-level connection between you that transcends physical distance and the passage of time. And they are clinging desperately to the hope that this connection is not one-sided, that somewhere in your heart, you feel it too. They have become more observant than ever before in their life, watching you with an intensity that borders on obsession. Quietly, almost compulsively, they watch you from whatever distance they can. Social media profiles are checked with regularity, mutual connections are subtly questioned for any news of you, old memories are revisited and examined for clues about who you have become. Anything that brings them even slightly closer to your current world is pursued, anything that offers a window into your present life is treasured. They are not doing this to invade your space or to control you from afar. They simply cannot help themselves. The compulsion is stronger than their willpower, stronger than their pride. The distance between you is absolutely agonizing, creating a constant low-grade pain that colors everything else in their life. Being apart from you is not turning out to be the peaceful break, the necessary separation, the healthy distance they once imagined or convinced themselves it would be. Instead, this separation has become a constant, painful reminder of everything that is missing in their life, everything that once made their days meaningful and their future exciting. Their current reality is starting to feel increasingly hollow, empty of real substance or genuine joy. The routines that once provided structure now feel meaningless. The people they spend time with now seem superficial compared to the depth you brought. Even the distractions that once brought comfort or entertainment now feel utterly pointless. They are going through the motions of living, performing the daily activities that life requires, but their heart is not truly in any of it. Nothing genuinely satisfies them anymore, nothing truly fulfills them, because the person they genuinely want to share their world with, the person who made everything more vibrant and alive, is no longer within reach. This deep dissatisfaction with their present circumstances is pushing them toward an inevitable crossroads, a point of decision that can no longer be avoided. They know in their heart that they cannot keep pretending they are fine, cannot continue this performance of contentment when inside they are anything but content. They know that something fundamental has to change in their life, and that change must begin with facing the complete truth of how they feel about you. Despite all the pain they carry, despite the confusion that clouds their thinking, despite the uncertainty about whether reconciliation is even possible, they have not let go of hope. If anything, their desire to reconnect with you has only grown stronger and more urgent as time has passed. They are being pushed forward by the weight of memories, by the persistence of signs and synchronicities, by the aching pull of your shared energy that seems to transcend space and time itself, all urging them to take action, to reach out, to try once more. Whether they will finally break the heavy silence between you and reach out remains to be seen. The future is unwritten, their courage is still being gathered. But one thing is absolutely certain, beyond any shadow of doubt, you have not left their heart. Not even close. You remain there, present and powerful, occupying a space that no one and nothing else has been able to fill. And no matter how far apart you may seem on the surface, no matter how much physical or emotional distance appears to separate you, in their soul, in the deepest part of their being, you are still right there. Present. Alive. Unforgettable. The connection endures, waiting for the moment when courage overcomes fear, when truth finally finds its voice, when the bridge between you might be crossed once again. Can we give it another try? This is the question they keep asking themselves over and over again, repeating it like a mantra, like a prayer, desperately hoping that somehow the answer might shift, that somehow you might still feel the same way they do. They truly wonder if you still think about them the way they constantly, obsessively think about you. It is not something they can control or shut off through force of will. Your name echoes through their thoughts no matter what they are doing, no matter how hard they try to focus on other things. There are moments when they catch themselves smiling spontaneously at a memory, a conversation you once had, a meaningful glance you once shared, and then the crushing weight of your absence quickly brings them back down to earth, back to the painful reality of separation. They cannot help but wonder if they ever cross your mind in the same way, if you feel that lingering pull in your heart when you think of what you once had together. Looking back with the clarity that only distance can bring, they regret deeply not being completely honest with you about their feelings. They truly do carry this regret. They regret the lies they told, not lies born of malice or intended to harm, but lies born of fear. Fear of being too vulnerable, too exposed, too raw. Fear of scaring you away with the intensity of what they felt. Fear that maybe they wanted more than you were ready to give at that time. But the truth they could not speak then is that they were drawn to you from the very beginning, from the first moment of connection. From the first time you interacted, something fundamental within them shifted in a way that nothing else had ever accomplished, and they knew instinctively, in some deep place of knowing, that their heart would never fully belong to anyone else. Even then, in those early moments, they could feel it, this strange, undeniable pull that seemed to whisper, "This is the person who could change everything about your life." They tried to fight it, tried to dismiss it as infatuation or temporary attraction. They tried desperately to hide it, to maintain composure, to appear casual and unaffected. But the feeling was always there, constant and persistent, refusing to be diminished. Every glance you shared, every genuine laugh, every moment you spent together, it only made that feeling stronger, more undeniable, more impossible to ignore. They keep replaying your conversations in their head with obsessive detail. It is as though their mind will not grant them permission to let those memories go, will not allow those words and moments to fade into the past. They go over every word you spoke, every meaningful silence you shared, every moment they desperately wish they could do over with the wisdom they now possess. There is a part of them that clings desperately to those memories, holding them close not just because they were beautiful, not just because they bring momentary comfort, but because they remind them of how utterly real it all was. You do not forget something like that. You cannot erase a connection that deep through time or distance alone. They cannot get enough of revisiting those moments because they are all they have left of what you once were together, and somehow those memories make them feel close to you even when you are miles and miles away. You both know, on some level, how much this distance is hurting both of you. It is not just physical space measured in miles or hours. It is emotional distance, spiritual separation, the chasm that forms when words go unspoken and truths remain hidden. It is the heavy silence that follows when they want desperately to reach out but hold themselves back out of fear or pride. It is the persistent ache that lingers when they scroll through their phone hoping against hope for a message from you, for any sign that you might be thinking of them too. It is the vast emptiness that comes from not knowing if you will ever find your way back to each other, if reconciliation is possible, if too much time has passed or too much damage has been done. And despite all of that confusion and pain, despite the uncertainty and the fear, they still want to please you. They still want to make you happy in ways no one else possibly can. That desire has never gone away, never diminished, never been replaced by anyone or anything else. They have never in their entire life experienced a connection so intense, so magnetic, so all-consuming. The chemistry between you is something that existed beyond explanation, beyond logic, beyond what words can adequately capture. It felt natural and effortless, like two souls recognizing each other after an impossibly long time apart, like coming home after years of wandering. And because of that profound connection, because of how deeply right it felt, being away from you has been absolutely unbearable. They do not want this distance. They do not want a life where they cannot reach for your hand when they need comfort, where they cannot hear your voice when darkness falls, where they cannot share their victories and defeats with the one person who truly understands them. They miss you more than words could ever adequately express. They miss everything about you, even the things that once frustrated them, even the challenges you presented, even the ways you pushed them to grow. That is how they know with absolute certainty that this is not just fleeting emotion, not just temporary nostalgia or romantic fantasy. This is something deeper, something that has taken root in the very core of who they are, something that has changed them fundamentally. From the outside looking in, it may seem like they are doing perfectly fine. You might think they are out there living their best life, surrounded by people and laughter and endless distractions. Maybe it even looks like they have moved on completely, that they have found happiness elsewhere. But none of that surface appearance is real, not in the way that matters most, not when measured against what their heart truly feels. Because the truth they cannot escape is that they feel genuinely lost without you. There is a profound sadness they carry with them every single day, a weight they bear in silence. One that no one else in their life seems to notice or recognize. They have become remarkably good at hiding it, at constructing a facade, at pretending everything is okay, at smiling when expected and laughing at appropriate moments. But the moment they are truly alone, when the distractions fade and the performance ends, it all comes crashing down again with devastating force. Their heart knows the truth even if they do not always show it to the world, even if pride keeps them from admitting it out loud. They were scared. Terrified, actually. Afraid that you did not love them the way they loved you, that their feelings were not matched with equal intensity. That fear, that terrible uncertainty, made them bottle up their emotions, made them hold back when all they wanted to do was pour their entire heart out to you without reservation. They were so utterly convinced that they would scare you away, that they would overwhelm you, if they revealed just how deeply they felt, how completely you had captured their heart. But now, with the clarity that distance and time can sometimes bring, they see that they were wrong about so many things. You loved them. Maybe you even loved them more than they loved you in ways they could not see at the time. You showed it in quiet ways, in subtle gestures, in moments they did not fully understand or appreciate at the time. And now that they have had time to reflect, to look back without the confusion of the present moment clouding their vision, they realize how deeply you cared, how much of yourself you gave, even when they failed to recognize it, even when they could not see past their own fears. If they could go back in time with the knowledge they now possess, they would do so many things differently. They would have told you the truth sooner, spoken their heart more freely. They would have been braver, more vulnerable, more honest about the depth of their feelings. They would have fought harder for what you had together, would have refused to let fear and pride destroy something so rare and precious. But all they can do now is speak honestly from this present moment and hope that maybe, just maybe, there is still a path forward. They hope that perhaps you can find your way back to each other, that the bridge between you has not been burned beyond repair.